So I went into Auckland Camera Centre a couple of days ago to have a look around, and I needed to buy some SD cards. And while I was there, I was looking in the Fuji cabinet, and they had the new 18mm 1.4. I'm not exactly sure how new it is, but it is a new release from Fuji. And I just asked the guys if I could borrow it for a couple of days, and as always they were super accommodating and said yep, sure, take it. And I went out to another guy that I met the other day, Simon, who has a really cool art studio. I was really fascinated by his work because if you're not from New Zealand you probably don't know about it, but there's a company called Whittaker's here, and they make like chocolates and lollies and all that, and they have a lot of sentimental value to a lot of people. I remember when I was a kid, you'd go to the dairy after school and buy a bunch of airplanes or milk bottles or Eskimos or whatever. These are all the kind of lollies that this company made. And Simon is a glass artist, and he's been making glass replicas or sculptures, or just, I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's art based on these lollies that you would buy when you're a kid. So I thought this is going to be a sweet situation to test out the 18mm. It's equivalent of about a 28mm lens, I believe. I thought it would be a fantastic lens to document what he's doing, so I just went up there, hung out, had a chat about it, and had a look around the studio. It's a really cool place. So all the photos you're going to see today were with the Fuji X-T4 and the 18mm 1.4. And they were all edited with CTM3, which is my preset pack. It's in pack 2 if you just buy the half set. But the link is in the description if you want to see those. So if you guys have been following for a while, you know that I mostly shoot with the 24mm G Master. It's kind of my favorite lens. It's my go-to. I've had this one since the day they came out. So it's pretty old, the paint's wearing off it, but it's my main lens. As a professional, this is, this goes to about 90% of my photos are taken with this lens. So 28mm equivalent is a little bit tighter, and I did definitely notice it. I took some photos with this and my A7C as well, so we'll compare those in another video. But today's just about the 18mm. So straight off the bat, when I was looking at the photos on the computer, they didn't really feel like a crop sensor. I know a lot of people are kind of obsessed with full frame and wanting that depth of field and all that, but this lens at 1.4 looks magic, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's really great. I think if I was on Fuji, I'd definitely buy this lens. I do really enjoy the 16mm 1.4, but I had noticed the 18mm, this one here, is much faster to focus, and the autofocus seems to be a little bit more reliable. To be honest, I haven't used the X-T4 in quite a while, so it's probably had some updates and stuff like that. But I did notice also, sidetracking a little bit, that the focus tracking was definitely better than I remember it being beforehand, so that's nice to see. So talking about build quality, it feels really nice. It feels just like any of the other Fuji lenses. I've never had a problem with how they're built. Even the cheap kit lenses were, they're all fantastically made. The only thing I don't like about the build of it is that the aperture ring is really easy to change the aperture. And I noticed that I would bump it quite a lot, and it just jumps out of 1.4 or f2, and you just kind of have to keep an eye on it. Otherwise you can lock it in the A mode. It has a little button on it, and it's not going to come out if you want to use the dials instead. But yeah, the aperture ring is a little bit too free for my liking. The images themselves are really nice and sharp. I'm really impressed with the image quality. There was a little bit of chromatic aberration, but nothing really to worry about. I think the aberration on some of the G Master lenses from Sony is worse. Sharpness is fantastic, even at 1.4. Most of these images were shot at 1.4, and I do really enjoy the flare that it has. So we didn't have any full sun, so I couldn't try any like full midday sun flaring, but I really like how it kind of ghosts. I've been playing with the Pro Mist filters on my Sony system, and this lens has kind of a similar look to it. It doesn't look like Pro Mist, like it's not as aggressive as having a mist filter on your lens, but it does have a really nice soft glow. You guys can see in the photos anyway. And I find all Fuji lenses are like that. Even my X100F has a really nice flare to it. This lens is obviously weather sealed. It has the WR mark, so that's great to see as well. So I wouldn't have any issues using this at a wedding. The focusing in the 18mm is really nice and smooth. It's fast, much more reliable than some of the older lenses that Fuji had out. So yeah, really happy with that as well. The video focus, I'm not really going to comment on because I don't think I can give an honest, fair representation of it, because this X-T4 isn't mine and I don't have it set up correctly for video focus. I know Fuji autofocus in video isn't fantastic, but it works. I just find it a little bit jumpy. But yeah, in terms of the lens itself, I think the performance is fantastic. I think this 18mm would really suit like portrait photographers, family shoots, weddings, street photography, journalism kind of stuff, even landscape photography. I did go out last night and try and get some astro with it. I don't even know why. It wasn't the ideal night for it. It's half moon, and yeah, it just wasn't a great, it was a bit of a fail. So I did get one photo, I chuck it up on the screen, but it's not very good, so don't judge it based on that. Yeah, I reckon if I was to buy into the Fuji system and get a couple of X-T4s, I think the 18mm would probably be the first lens I would buy, and then maybe the 35mm 1.4 to accompany it, possibly the 56. But those three lenses I think would make a really, really great lineup, and yeah, really impressed with the Fuji 18mm 1.4. So like I said, I am going to do a comparison video with the 18mm in my 24mm G Master, even though they're not the same focal length. I was just filming the review with this in my A7C, so I just took a couple of photos with it as well. So I'm going to put them side to side and you guys can see how they look. Maybe it's just be an interesting video. But yeah, I'm going to put some raw files in the description of this lens so you can download them for yourself and have a play. One question I know I'm going to get asked a lot is whether I would buy the 16mm or the 18mm. And I have to say, even though I prefer the 24mm equivalent focal length, I think I'd probably buy the 18mm because it's a little bit more versatile. I can use it in more situations, where sometimes I find 24 a little bit too wide. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you guys with the 18, 24, 16mm situation, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But I think if I was going to make the call now, even if they were the same price, I mean, I think they're pretty similar priced anyway. I personally would probably go for the 18mm, just being a little bit newer, it's a little bit smaller, focus seemed a little bit faster and a little bit more reliable. And yeah, like I said, I think that 18mm focal length is a little bit more versatile. That 2mm does make quite a difference. So that's my thoughts on it anyway. But thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video, probably tomorrow. I have a lot of stuff to make, so hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon. I've had a few messages from people saying they haven't been seeing any uploads, and I've put like 5 up in that time, but they're not coming up in people's feeds, so you got to tick that bell icon, I think. But anyway, I'll get out of here and I'll see you guys in the next video.